Hello, I'm Joseph Dillard. This is the fifth in a series of videos explaining how to interview a dream character using the Integral Deep Listening online interviewing protocol. After we have used the first three questions to deepen our identification with our interviewed character and gain information about how it views itself and its role in our dream, we can now inquire as to what aspects of ourself it most closely personifies or represents. Rope, what aspects of Joseph do you most closely represent or personify? And the rope responds, I personify how he uses his waking goals and priorities to ignore, repress, and discount those of his emerging potentials and his life compass. He did this specifically in relationship to his participation in Agni Yoga, but this is a more general issue that is always occurring in his life, just different circumstances with the passing years. For example, now, at the age of 72, he is good at ignoring or repressing his need for more stretching and muscle strengthening exercise and his need to cut down on his sugar intake. Notice that this answer not only gives Rope's view of why it appeared in that nightmare years ago, but how it is still relevant in my life today. Its comment is unexpected and legitimate. What it says is true. It's not that I did not know this. IDL interviewing is not about telling yourself things you don't already know. It's about reconsidering your priorities. Rope is telling me that, in its opinion, I need to put a higher priority on exercise and cutting down on sugar. Now, Rope is not God. It is not pontificating from on high. It's just the perspective of an imaginary dream character. And we are not to form our opinions based on its authority, but based on whether it says makes sense and is useful or not. This is a pragmatic theory of truth. Use what makes sense and throw out the rest. Just because a character says it represents this or that part of you does not mean that its perspective or worldview can be reduced to being a part of you. Instead, its perspective includes yours, but adds its own, which means it transcends yours. That also means that it is innately more than a part of you, however you want to define you. Ego, shadow, personal or collective unconscious, superconscious, or Atman. This is one of the points at which Integral Deep Listening, parts company with Jung, Gestalt, and parts therapies work with subpersonality, shadow work, roles, and various other approaches that reduce imaginal imagery to self aspects. The next question is designed to give your interviewed character the opportunity to transform if it wants to. The key here is if it wants to. This is not about what you want. I may want Rope to transform into something more to my liking. Rope may not want to. If a character does not want to change, it is basically saying, the way I am and the place I have in your life and worldview is something that's realistic and accurate and needs to be accepted, whether you like it or not. So, I asked the Rope, if you could change in any way you wanted, would you? And if so, how would you change? Rope responds, although I don't like being used in the way I am used in this dream, I serve an important function by doing so, and that is reminding Joseph of his ever-present ability to ignore, repress, discount, or otherwise cut himself off from the creative wellsprings that show him his own unique path to a more balanced and effective life. So, I need to stay the way I am. A beginner's mistake is to turn the character into some personification of happiness and sunshine. A cloud, angel, butterfly, dolphin, or rainbow. If any of these show up, immediately expect that the subject has jumped in to put a happy gloss on something they don't want to look at. Ask the character, "Bro, is that you wanting to turn into a butterfly? Or is that Joseph's desire?" This will cause both the interviewed perspective and the subject of the interview to reflect on just how good a job they are doing of allowing the character to speak. IDL is not biased in favor of transformation. It's biased in favor of respecting the preferences of whatever character is being interviewed. If a character doesn't want to change, we respect that. If it wants to change in ways we don't like or want, we respect that. This brings up the topic of follow-up questions. If something is not clear, it is okay in IDL interviewing to ask for clarification. For example, rope, why do you want to stay the same and not change? Tea kettle, why do you want to change into an octopus? If the character chooses to change, give it a name to differentiate it from the previous identity. That new name is used by the interviewing protocol to address questions to the transformed character. Our next video in this series on the IDL dream interviewing protocol is addressing life changes. Thanks for watching. See you next time.